I pray you never are forced to shoot in self-defense. But if you must, then you must be ready. That's why USCCA exists, because every responsible armed American should have the training and education to navigate a self-defense situation. And should you ever need it, the 24/7 critical response team is right there for you. To discover more about USCCA, visit uscca.com/GOR. Act now, because the life you save could be your own. That's uscca.com/GOR.
Go to San Diego County GunOwners.com and download the voter guide. Go to InlandEmpireGunOwners.com and download their voter guide. Go to OrangeCountyGunOwners.com and download their voter guide. Voter guides are out. Ballots are out. Election's right around the corner. Check out to see who has been endorsed. Vote for them. Tell everybody about them. Donate a couple of bucks to them. Help us get the right people elected. We're going to jump right in. We actually have a special guest right here at the top of the hour. Her name's Kiarra.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Yes, ma'am. Now, you are here to talk about gun rights, our women's rights, which is an event at San Diego State, right?
Yes, absolutely. Turning Point USA is hosting Amy Robbins and Antonia Okafor at our campus Monday, November 7th at 7 p.m. They are going to be giving an empowering discussion on the importance of gun rights for women. However, prior to the event, Gun Owners of America is sponsoring a group of lovely ladies who plan on attending that event to go to Discount Gun Mart, where we will have our range fees and our ammo paid for, and they can get personal firearm safety training from Antonia and Amy themselves.
Wow.
Wow.
How cool is that?
It's absolutely incredible.
Kind of makes you wish you were a girl.
That's not the only thing.
You know what? Shave and wear a skirt.
Yeah.
They'll never know.
There you go.
Absolutely. We invite all of San Diego to come. It's absolutely free. If you'd like to find the event yourself, go to eventbrite.com, click on the search bar and type in GOA Empowered, and it will be the first option. RSVP, screenshot your ticket, and send us an email at tpusaatSDSU@gmail.com, and we can get you on the roster so you can get to go to the gun range for free and come to our event for free as well.
We're gonna get that link for people who are interested in participating. We're gonna get that link sent out through Gun Owners Radio and through San Diego County Gun Owners and through Orange and everybody. We're gonna get that link out so that just in case you missed it. But what did you say? You go to where do you go? Eventbrite?
Eventbrite.com.
Eventbrite.com and do a search for gun rights or women's rights.
GOA Empowered.
GOA Empowered. Fantastic. Now so you do volunteer work for Turning Point?
Yes, and I am the president of the Turning Point USA chapter at San Diego State University.
Wow.
And I'm also the vice president of the College Republicans chapter there as well.
Oh, cool. Now, how did you get involved with Turning Point?
I got involved with Turning Point in a little what I call small world moment. My freshman year at San Diego State, I had just discovered I was a Republican and knew I needed to get involved and my views would be challenged. I had seen some Charlie Kirk videos on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So I attended an Aztec Nights event where there was a carnival on campus, and there was a section where there were a lot of student clubs advertising their clubs. And I came across Turning Point USA's table, and the president at the time was someone that I went to elementary school with.
Oh, wow.
And we caught up shortly. He told me about Turning Point and told me about what they believe. And I thought, wow, this is absolutely up my alley. I'd love to get involved. And within a year and a half, I ended up taking over the club. So
how cool is that?
Today.
You took it over. Yes. I like that. I like that confidence. You didn't, it's not, she didn't step in or fill in.
She took it over. All right. I like that. Well, so I guess with everything you hear on the media about colleges throwing, conservative speakers out of the hall and this, that, the college at San Diego State?
Yes.
How have they accepted not only Turning Point, but just the fact that the kids are involved in the Second Amendment and owning a gun?
Yeah, so I would say the reaction to our club is pretty 50-50. We get people who are interested in knowing what the club is about. Maybe they might not believe in it, and so they kind of just like, oh, I'm not really interested, thank you.
Right.
And then sometimes we get people who are pretty passive-aggressive or they're confrontational. Right. We have a socialist club on our campus who is not really happy that we're there.
Gotcha.
I'm not going to drop their name because I don't want to give
A
them that
socialist
free press.
I wouldn't give him. No. I wouldn't give it to him.
They're
either.
not happy that you're there. Are you happy that they're there?
I'm absolutely thrilled that they're there because
Isn't that typical of a conservative Republican?
Why are you thrilled that they are there?
because I think it's important that there is a diverse there are diverse opinions on campus.
You guys ever debate? You ever get into a debate?
No,
They
all
won't.
of their events are online because they're still afraid of COVID. So
Aw.
I would love to invite them to come to our event and discuss firearms. But
Anti-social socialists.
yes, they are anti-social socialists. I like that.
I like you make that up.
Just now.
I like that's a T-shirt.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about this event. I want to get back to the event, and I think that you guys did a great job. I'm so glad that Gun Owners of America is sponsoring it. Gun rights are women's rights. That's so true. And it's very, very cool. And the event that you're going to have, is it where you get to go to the range and train with them? Is that just for women?
Yes and no.
It's yeah, I gotcha.
So we
Legally you can't limit it to women, but it's definitely encouraged.
Yes.
It's marketed towards. It's
Absolutely.
really meant for women. I gotcha.
We would love to have men and women come.
Okay.
However, we would like to stress that we are giving priority registration to women first.
Okay.
So as soon as spots fill up,
Mhm.
if not a lot of women signed up, all the men who are interested in coming, absolutely, we'll add them. And they're more than welcome to come, and we encourage them to come. But
Is it so limited? So space is limited?
space is limited, yes, because Discount Gun Mart, their indoor range is pretty small. You can only have so many people per lane, and they only have so many lanes. So it is important, ladies, that you get your tickets as soon as possible and send us a screenshot of your ticket.
But there's two events we're talking about. We're talking
Yes.
about there's a talk by them
Yes.
on San Diego State University campus.
Yes.
And anybody can go to that.
Yes.
And there's how many people can you fit?
We can fit 300 people in
300
the venue.
people. All right. So go to that talk. Everybody listening, sign up, go to that talk, check it out. It's going to be really cool. They're both speakers are very dynamic. In fact, we're interviewing both of them in the show later today. So go to that. But then in addition, especially if you know some women, have them sign up for the Discount Gun Mart event where they actually get to train with both of these ladies.
Yes,
right?
that will be in the afternoon before the event. So as soon as you send us your ticket, you will be contacted personally with the details of the event, because we can't just advertise what time, where we're meeting, all those things, because we don't want, bunch of people showing up. I signed up, yeah.
No.
So just make sure that you send us that screenshot of your ticket so we can get you connected to the rest of the group who's going to be there, and you will be notified in a timely manner what time we're meeting, the address of the gun range, even though I advertise Discount Gun Mart.
Yep.
And yes, we'll just get you connected.
Well,
and
there's
have a good
two
time.
Discount Gun Marts, and you didn't tell them which one.
Oh, well, that's a secret.
There
Guess you're
is
going to have
two?
to send us a screenshot of your ticket then so that you'll get the
Yeah,
location.
there's one in Santee, and then there's the one that they're going to use, which is in San Diego. I just ruined it. Never mind.
Oh,
So,
it's all right.
I was going to say, what?
that didn't go well at all.
No.
Dave, isn't that amazing?
I think it's just mind-boggling. I mean, because
Kiarra, she came in and spoke to our meeting in South and talked all about this. Just found us and came and talked to the meeting, and
Well,
then we're like, hey, we got to
I
get
got
together.
a sneaky feeling she's just going to go where she wants to go.
She took this organization over.
I know.
I have a
I
feeling
hope
she
she
does.
doesn't want San Diego County gun owners, because you'll be working at McDonald's if that's the case. Orange County Gun Owners is dedicated to preserving and restoring Orange County self-defense rights. If you live in Orange County and want to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, you need to join. OCGunOwners.com/join. Orange County Gun Owners is more than supporting the lawsuits for the Second Amendment. They have developed an effective infrastructure that focuses on local outreach and activism. Volunteer at a shooting social, at a gun shop and tabletop, and help more pro-gun local officials get elected. Become a member today. That's OrangeCountyGunOwners.com/join.
All right, we're talking to Joe Eaton from Faster Saves Lives. This is a program in the Buckeye State that helps train school staff to medically or defensively, and it sounds like a really fascinating program, Joe. Thank you so much for for all the work that you guys are doing. Any idea? So you said how many people have gone through this program now?
We've trained over 3,000 different staff from about 300 districts, and they've come in from 23 states, as far away as Oregon, and it's humbling. We have 3 schools in Oklahoma that every year they load staff in a bus or a van, and they drive across the country to come out here and train with us. And it's just it's really amazing to see the love and the dedication that the school staff have for our kids, and their willingness to do anything to keep them safe. And that's the important part, is the staff really care about the kids, and they want to do everything to keep them safe. And even more amazing is we finding now that about 50% of the staff have never touched or owned a firearm until they volunteered to be a part of their school's program. And that just shows how serious they're taking the safety and security of the kids that we entrust with them every day. It's really neat.
So generally, the reception's been good, then, it sounds like.
It's been overwhelmingly positive. Here in Ohio, every school that has publicly announced that they're implementing this program have got back with us and said easily 90 to 95% of the feedback they get from the community is positive. There have been a couple of negative ones. One of them, they said they had a parent put up a Facebook poll and get 100 people to sign a petition on Facebook, which I don't think is that much of a challenge these days. And then we did have Bloomberg send in every town for gun safety and file a lawsuit against one of the school districts here in Ohio. And that caused some problems for the school district. Them and our foundation spent almost $750,000 trying to defend against that, which is a drop in the bucket for Bloomberg. But in the end, the legislature stepped up and did away with any ambiguity in the law here in Ohio, and we have a very strong law here in Ohio that will allow schools to continue to do this.
Jeez, that's so many. That was part of the plan, is to try to bleed you guys.
Exactly. They picked a small district that they thought would just cave and give up right away, and they would have the precedent. But the school district was very serious about it. In fact, it's sad because the school district had a school shooting in their school in 2016. It was fortunate they had an SRO there who was able to immediately respond within less than 10 seconds and chase the shooter out of the school. Nobody died before people were shot in their school. So the very next year, they wanted to include additional armed staff to increase their safety and security, and that's when Bloomberg came in and filed lawsuit against the school district. But overall, it was a long, drawn-out battle, but we came out on the right end of it.
Well, congratulations. You guys are doing an awesome job. Now, what is the generally, I guess just from our brief conversation here, it sounds like Ohio is a fairly Second Amendment friendly state. Is that fairly accurate, or what are some of the big struggles you have statewide there?
We have really done a lot of fantastic cleanup, one little bite at a time over the past 20 years. Even concealed carry, Ohio was the 45th state to enact concealed carry back in 2004. In fact, it was just about 8 years ago, we were the very last state which put the burden of proof back on the prosecution. You know how when we all grew up believing that you're innocent until proven guilty?
Right.
Well, until about 8 years ago in Ohio, for self-defense, you were guilty and had to prove yourself innocent. And we finally got the burden of proof shifted back to the prosecution instead of on the innocent person defending their lives. We just now got permitless carry or constitutional carry here in Ohio passed last session. So, there are still some items we're working on, but overall, things have been very positive for people here in Ohio over the past couple of decades.
So well over half your state representatives are what you would describe as pro-Second Amendment.
Yes. Yep. We have a very strong Republican majority in here, and we used to have even a lot of very strong Democrats going back to Ted Strickland when he was our governor. He signed and promoted a lot of good legislation for us. But in fact, during that time, the Republican governors were our problem. We had our first veto override in 70-year history here in Ohio, which was for one of our concealed carry laws overriding Republican Governor Taft. But the state legislature knew it was the right thing to do. They bucked their party leadership and said, this is the right thing for people of Ohio, and they overrode his veto.
Yeah, I'm completely done with Republican versus Democrat. There's no There's no guarantee that a Republican is on your side if you're a gun owner, and there's no guarantee that a Democrat is against you if you're a gun owner. It's just about, either you do the right thing, you don't. I don't care what color your tie is. It's so ridiculous. Well, that's awesome. Sounds like you're doing a great job. We have a co-host here, Action Jackson. He's 9 years old. He regularly shoots. He's got a variety of 9mm, and he has a question for you, Joe. What's your question?
What's your favorite gun?
Good question.
My favorite gun. Well, for years and years, it was the Glock 19 that I've shot for decades, but it was probably about 2 years ago I switched over to the SIG 365, and I've just fell in love with that. That small gun shoots almost identical feeling to the larger Glock 19 that I shot for years and years. So I would have to say that's it for right now. I am not one that goes out and buys every new gun that comes along, but I've found ones that do the job for me, and that's what I stick with.
You should live in California. You would never have to worry about buying a new gun.
Yeah, because you can't buy one.
Because you can't buy one. Hey, Action Jackson, tell them what you did on that Instagram. Didn't you do a pretty amazing shot just the other day?
Yeah, it was
It was what?
Hang on one second.
Hold on a second. The boss is
A 140-yard shot.
Wow, with your 9mm?
Holy smokes.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Were you standing still or were you running?
Standing still.
Okay, very good. Now, this little guy is
Very
amazing.
nice.
Yeah, he's got, don't you
We'll
have
have to get him and a couple of you out here to Ohio to one of our classes next summer. We'd love to have you guys come out here and see what we're doing, and then get back to California and get the legislature back in line out there to allow them to do it again, because you had that option for decades.
We're going to need your help on that one, let me tell you, brother.
So you offer so it's all done in Ohio, but you offer this this service or these classes to anybody that wants to take them, huh?
Exactly. We even opened it up to churches, businesses, to the general public. If somebody attends from outside of the K through 12 environment, we ask them to cover the cost of the training, because we try to provide grants to the schools so they get this training at no cost to the schools. Like I said, we regularly run them here in Ohio. We run them in Colorado, and we just started this year running them in Arizona, and we hope to keep the momentum up there. Basically, anywhere there's enough demand from the schools, and if we've got the funding to make it happen, we can take this program into any state and provide it to their schools.
So if a person wanted to do it and they weren't involved in, to where a grant could help out, what kind of a financial burden would that be?
Our first level 1 class, like I said, is 3-day class. We ask $1,500 for the 3 days. That includes the 3 days of training while you're here. It includes a hotel while you're here, and includes a professional trauma kit that we give all the attendees to take back to complement the trauma medical portion of the training also. So we try to make it as economical as we can, but we've got to build in enough that we can keep providing this to the schools at no or as low cost as we can.
I think that's more than reasonable.
It's awesome. It's very, very cool.
I mean, it costs you that much just to take Mike to lunch.
Depending.
Well, we're
on
lucky
whether or not
a
I get
couple of the
dessert.
training facilities. Yeah, the training facilities we use here are bought into the program, and in 10 years they have not raised the price of what they charge us to run a class through them. So we're very blessed. The work that Tactical Defense Institute here in Southern Ohio and Apex Shooting does up in Northern Ohio, it's great to have good partners like that.
Well, so I'm sitting here thinking, how could anybody say no to saving children's lives if you're not mandating it? If there's people within the school that say, hey, I really want to be part of this and maybe even be part of saving children's lives, where's the argument? I can't even imagine it.
There really is no counter argument. In fact, I get aggravated as can be when I'm working with the media and they tell me, well, we have to go talk to the other side. And I'm like, seriously, is there a side that wants to have more dead or injured kids? That's absolutely ridiculous.
Exactly.
We're all on the same side. We're looking to save as many lives as possible. And our program simply gives schools an option, because they do very good now about the stuff that can help, detect or deter or deflect the things, such as, single points of entry and sign in, sign out at the schools. They train their staff to look for changes in behaviors and personality. They have tip lines. They monitor social media. But, schools look at it and say, what do I do, such as happened at Sandy Hook or, at Parkland or Uvalde, where everything else I've put in place falls apart. Somebody shoots the front door out of my school and starts murdering my staff and students. What can I do? And that's where our program comes in. And they're finally getting this more and more. When we first started 10 years ago, it would aggravate me that schools would plan for every other emergency except for violence. And, I tell them it would be negligent if your plan was for a kid that falls in a pool to simply dial 911 and stand there at the side of the pool. There's no way we would have that as policy. You're going to jump in the pool. You're going to pull the kid out. Everybody's trained in CPR. And then when the professionals get there, you're going to have a victim, or you're going to have a patient instead of a victim to transfer to them. And it's got to be the same with violence. They've got to have a plan for that first 5, 10, 15 minutes until the professionals can get there. And that's what we provide.
Without a shot. I mean, it just makes no
Well,
sense.
if you're being violently attacked, I don't care what the situation is. If you're being violently attacked, it is always better to be able to defend yourself
Right.
than to not defend yourself. And any other assertion is political.
Exactly. Well, so when they turn around and say, oh, my gosh, we had a killing in Parkland, and they complain and they rant, and they rave, and they beat their chests, and they do absolutely nothing about it till the next, and then the next. And it looks to me like what you got going, Joe, you got the schools saying enough is enough. Hey, did you know we have a world-class flight training school here in San Diego, Jackson? Did you know that?
As a matter of fact, no.
Well, you should sign up. That'll be your next challenge. We're going to make you a short pilot. But pilots can fly almost every day. We're close to the ocean as well as the desert and mountains. SDFTI instructors can help you learn to navigate around the international border and military bases. That's why San Diego is one of the best places to learn how to fly in the world. Learn to fly in sunny San Diego, right at Montgomery Field. Getting started is super easy. Give them a call at 858-569-1822. Learn to fly at SDFTI. Call 858-569-1822. Jackson, you're not dialing the number. We're going to get you into a jet.
We're gonna dress them up as Snoopy. Have them fly a doghouse.
Oh, think you could fly
awesome.
a doghouse?
That'd be awesome.
Chase could be your co-pilot.
Yeah.
He wiggled his tail really fast. Keep you in the air.
I think that's step one in the
That's-
process.
See, he's already got it figured out.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And it'd be a little bit different, though. I think Chase would be, what's his name, Woodstock? When the little bird's
he could
named Woodstock?
Yeah, but he's a little bit big for Woodstock.
Well.
He'd eat Woodstock.
All right, we have another guest. It is election season. You're just a couple of weeks away. We actually have a candidate for Santee School Board, Seat 5, Tracie Thill. How are you doing, Tracie?
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, ma'am. Did I say your last name right?
It's Till.
Till. Okay, Till.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much. So talk a little bit about what you're running for and why.
Well, I'm running for, as you said, Santee School Board, Seat 5. I became activated as a parent and as a staff member, when the pandemic hit us. My husband is actually a Navy veteran and a nurse here at one of our local hospitals. And when all of the mandates kind of started coming down on us, I started picketing in front of the hospital that he worked at against these mandates and for our freedoms. And that's kind of like I said, what got me activated.
Now, what motivated you to do that? So you were specifically you were picketing against a mandate to get the vaccine, right?
Yes, they were beginning to fire staff members at the local hospitals for, not receiving the vaccine. But as the summer turned into fall, as a school employee, those mandates were now, falling on myself, and I wasn't agreeing with those. So again, I kind of held my ground, and I was opposing the weekly testing that was our accommodation. If we were unvaccinated, that was our accommodation, was weekly testing. And I didn't think that was okay.
I'm just curious, what if you're okay talking about it? Just what was it, the mandate that you didn't like, or was it the vaccine you didn't like,
Or both?
or both?
well, both. Schools weren't mandating the vaccine yet, but they had asked us what our status was. And if we were unvaccinated or, kind of undeclared, then we had to test weekly to keep our jobs.
Yeah.
The vaccinated staff members did not have to do that, even though it was clear at that point that it really didn't matter, with transmission, if you were vaccinated or not. So
I was so uncomfortable with the mandate part of that. I really, really disliked that thoroughly. In fact, I was interviewed by KPBS about that, and I told them at the time, I grew up. My dad's a doctor, my mom was a nurse, and I grew up, completely
Indoctrinated?
Well, I guess I just had 100% faith in medical science. I remember as a kid sitting at the dining room table, my mom would come home from work with with a syringe and a vial.
Say,
and,
roll your sleeve up.
Yeah, roll your sleeve up. Boom. I got a spoonful of mashed potatoes in one hand, and she's giving me a
needle in the other.
Yeah, and I mean, it's completely and totally 100%. But so I guess what I'm saying is, I was at the time, if they said, "Hey, this vaccine works and it's safe and effective," okay, all right, I believe you. But what I don't like is you telling me I have to do it.
Right.
That I am completely 100%
Exactly.
against, and I just can't believe that this happened, and there's so
it just
little
needs to be-
pushback.
yes.
So and there's
medical choice. Medical choice really needs to, it just needs to be advocated for, and whether that is for vaccines or masks or whatever, it just needs to be medical choice, and the power needs to be given back to the parents, not the government. The government is not our children's parents. We are, and we really need to take that power back as parents.
and Tracie, and I
So that's.
and you were
Go ahead.
So that's what got you. This overreach is what got you involved in politics, and you're not the only one. There's a lot of people running for office. Not enough. I think there should be more people running for office based on what happened with all this COVID stuff. But that's really what got you involved, huh?
Right, exactly. And it just definitely woke me up and really got me involved in what was going on in our school district and our policies as a whole. I was ultimately fired for not testing weekly when neighboring school districts vowed against dismissals like that. So unfortunately, Santee did let me go.
That's horrible. I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, that's all right. I'm working back in another school and loving life and loving being back in the classroom and working with students. Just unfortunately I was a special education instructional aide, and unfortunately, those are few and far between. We definitely need more of those in the school districts.
So Santee, so they let you go. They fired you. Is that is that a decision that the school board could have stopped?
I believe so. I believe that they kept me on unpaid leave for 3 months, and I was hoping that to make it through the school year, because eventually that those mandates were going to go away, and they did. In fact, the day that they fired me, they sent out an email to the rest of the unvaccinated staff saying that they ran out of money and they were no longer testing unvaccinated employees the very same day. So
I hope you win based on that. I hope you win just based on the fact.
Suing?
No. That the people that you're running against could have prevented you from losing your job. I hope you win just based on that.
And by the way, we did reach out to Ken Fox because he, I guess, and Joseph
opponent, yeah.
Dolan, but unfortunately, we got no response.
Now, if we did have all, what are there, 5 members of your school board on the Santee School Board? There's 5 members, right?
yes.
If they were sitting here or they were in a debate or whatever, if you asked them, hey, could you guys have prevented her from being fired? Would they say, yeah, we could have, but we felt it was better that the mandates exist and she get fired? Or do they have some kind of excuse?
I guess I can't answer that question for them. Ultimately, they made their decision, so that's their answer. I would like to say that someone would have taken a stand for me. It was a closed meeting, though, when they did let me go. So I guess, we don't have the minutes to that meeting to know what was discussed and how it was discussed.
That's
So-
interesting.
But
yeah, I
you
mean,
got
that's-
you gotta just kind of chuckle. Oh well, we've run out of money, so I guess it's okay. You don't have to get a shot. Well,
Well,
wait
I
a minute.
feel
You're
like
the
we
one.
Need, stronger board members definitely need to be, on our board, and that's why
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can be a stronger voice for, standing up against these, governmental, this tyranny that we're dealing with right now.
Oh boy, they see you coming, girl. They see you coming.
And
I
by
hope
the
they see me coming.
speaking of, by the way, Tracie, you're a legit gun person, right? You shoot, own guns, practice regularly.
Yes, sir. I do. I'm an active member of Girl and a Gun. I joined several months ago. I just finished up my first trap league, and gosh, that was so much fun. It was a wide variety of women out there, beginners to experts, and gosh, it was just a whole bunch of fun.
Well, Action Jackson, he's got a question for you. Action Jackson's our 9-year-old co-host here. Go for it. What's your question?
What's your favorite gun?
Good question.
I have a Sig Sauer that I really enjoy shooting. I take that to the range, the indoor range down at Discount Gun Mart on Marina, and just have a great time with it.
Well, Tracie,
I am still learning to get comfortable with it day to day. I would eventually like to get my CCW. I haven't started that process yet, but it is in the plans.
Well, we'll help you. No problem. Anything you need for that, Tracie, let me know. Tracie, I got to tell you, I've agreed with everything you've said so far, except that your favorite gun's a Sig. That's the only thing that you and I.
Oh, Action Jackson has one.
I'm just kidding. That's awesome.
Everyone has to have their favorite gun, right? And
That's
I have probably 9-year-old size hands, so my little gun works just fine for me.
Well, that's fantastic. I'm, of course, just teasing. Do you have a website? If people want to help you out, is there a way for people to help you out, or what do you need people to do?
I really need people to spread the word on social media. If there's anybody here in Santee that's listening and that agrees with, some of the things that I've said, just to get my name out there. I've got signs up all over town. I'm trying to attend as many events as possible in East County. Tracie for Santee School Board is my website.
Tracie, Tracie for Santee School Board.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Tracie. Awesome job. Good luck.
Keep up the good work.
Do gun owners have the right to privacy? I think so. Stick around when they get details from my buddy Mike next.
All right. Hey, Gun Prom is coming to the Inland Empire. Are you going? You ought to. Vintage aircraft. Yeah. You like antique airplanes. Why? Because it's going to be at March Air Museum. So get your dresses and suits ready. Dust off those dancing shoes. Get ready to celebrate and support the Second Amendment. You can join us and other Second Amendment supporters November 12th, 2022 at March Air Museum in Riverside. Celebrate with delicious food, drinks, and dancing. Don't miss your chance to win some amazing prizes and support the Second Amendment at the same time. Get your tickets now at gunprom.com. Are you going, Mike?
I'm definitely going. Yeah, we're definitely going to be there on the 12th.
Did you get a table?
I didn't get a table. I'm working it. I got to work it, man. I got to get up there and talk and sweat and dance and holler and hoop.
Oh, that's right, because
I'm not going to dance.
You're that guy.
Unless it's like a conga line. Is that a dance?
I think so.
You do a conga line with me, Action Jackson?
As long as it's with other people, yes.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely with other people.
It's just gonna be you and me just congaing around the room. You don't make friends with salad. You don't make friends with salad.
See, that's exactly how it goes. Now I'll be stuck in his head the rest of the night.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Welcome to Gun Owners Radio, 5:00 hour. We're going to talk about a privacy rights issue, as Action Jackson alluded to. We got an injunction that we're going to talk a little bit about. And in the next couple of segments, we're going to talk to Amy Robbins and Antonia Okafor about the gun rights or women's rights conference that's going on here in San Diego at San Diego State.
Hey, are you moving to Canada with me?
No.
You got new gun laws.
In Canada?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You want to go?
No. That's a bad gun law as opposed to a good gun law.
There is no.
There is no good gun law. I know, right? Well, there's a couple things going on. First off, let's talk about. There's three things I want to talk about real quick. I was on KUSI again this morning.
Yes,
Dave,
I seen you.
how did I do?
You did wonderful.
Yep.
Except you didn't mention the radio.
I got yelled at for not plugging the radio show.
That's okay. I'll let you slide. You did a really good job, and Jason did a good job interviewing you as well.
Yeah, so it was about, of course, the voter guide, and it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty right in line with what you would expect. But the part that some people, not everybody, but there's a significant portion of folks in San Diego who have been trusting the Republican voter guide for years. That's great. They did an okay job. They're, for the most part, the few people that they endorse are very similar to the ones that we've endorsed. Of course, the one big difference is the sheriff's race. So I talked all about that. I talked about that Thursday morning. I talked about that Sunday morning, both on KUSI, and really just want to make sure that people understand that, yeah, the Republicans usually get it right, but they didn't this time.
Well, they just went party line.
They went straight party line. There was one guy running for sheriff. Doesn't matter what his views are. They endorsed him because they had nobody else, and he's not pro Second Amendment. Now he's running around telling people, "Oh, hey, gee, I'm all for the Second Amendment." But so that's what Hillary Clinton said too. She says she supports the Second Amendment. And Obama said he supports the Second Amendment. The reality is, John Hemmerling is made a career in the city attorney's office down in San Diego. He's given of gun grabbing. He's been advancing the gun violence restraining orders, not just executing them or standing by while they've been executed. He's actually gone to other law enforcement agencies to teach them how to make them standard operating procedure. He's been on this show where he said, "Oh yeah, these are a good thing for gun owners."
He was shocked that you questioned his ideas and why he does it.
He's nothing but bad news when it comes to gun owners. But then, even furthermore, we've uncovered even more. He's threatened journalists. He's just really bad news. He's not a good candidate, and that's okay. The Republicans are people too. They're not perfect, and they made a huge mistake when it comes to sheriff this time. So vote for Kelly Martinez. She's been extremely helpful with everything that we care about when it comes to gun owners. We worked with her, we've talked to her, we've brought up questions and concerns, and she's addressed them. She's made huge improvements. She's definitely the person that you want to vote for if you're a gun owner in San Diego.
Well, she didn't just talk about it. She actually did it.
She did it.
And
exactly
I think
right.
that's the problem I always have with politicians. When I get in, I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this. And when they get in, they go, I'm not doing anything.
That's the thing. I was talking to someone, and they said, "Gee, she's a Democrat. I'm afraid she's going to turn into a gun grabber." And he said, "Okay, so you're afraid she's going to." First off, I'm afraid every politician is going to turn into a gun grabber. How
many Republicans have done that?
Every single one. I'm afraid of every single one. So you have to be vigilant. You have to, hold their feet to the fire. But what you don't want to do is vote for a guy who has actually professionally been a gun grabber, because you're afraid of the other candidate might turn into a gun grabber. I mean, if you look at not their words, but their actions, Kelly Martinez has been fantastic. So that's why we endorsed her unapologetically, wholeheartedly, full-throatedly. Kelly Martinez for sheriff. Let everybody know. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the injunction. There was a law passed last year that the Department of Justice can share gun owner information and ammunition buyer information with third-party folks, like specifically UC Davis, that's got a research project going on where they want to try to figure out more ways to take your guns away. So the Department of Justice was giving them information about gun owners, giving them information about ammunition buyers, and with the help of Firearms Policy Coalition, San Diego County gun owners, Orange County gun owners, and Inland Empire gun owners filed a lawsuit. So if you're a member of any of those three organizations, you are a plaintiff in a lawsuit that said, "Hey, we don't agree. We want that to stop. We want that practice to stop." And lo and behold, got it in front of a judge. The judge said, "Yep, you guys have a point. We're putting an injunction on this, so the Department of Justice cannot give that information out. Your privacy is protected, and we're going to get our day in court." Very, very proud of that. So please, if you're in Orange County, if you're in Riverside or San Bernardino, Inland Empire, if you're in San Diego, join our groups, support the lawsuit. But more importantly, be a part of this lawsuit. Be a plaintiff. So go to San Diego County Gun Owners. Go to Inland Empire Gun Owners. Go to OrangeCountyGunOwners.com. Join, $10 a month, $100 per day. You're actually going to be a part of an organization that's getting something done. You're going to be part of a lawsuit that's going to help. So help us, lead back to the promised land of Second Amendment.
Absolutely.
California's had a bright Second Amendment passed, and if I have anything to say about it, we're going to have a bright Second Amendment future, Dave.
I can't wait.
Me either. So looking forward to, you were talking about Canada, so let's talk about what happened in Canada. What's your understanding of what happened in Canada?
Well, Canada just decided, instead of beating around the bush, we're just going to take all your guns away.
Well, just about. They put what they did is they halted all sales of handguns, and their prime minister, who is viciously, extremely anti-gun, just said, "Yep, you know what? We're going to stop sales of all handguns in Canada right now for no reason." With no legal.
That shut down all the gun stores?
Well, right for now.
Or is he just going to run them out of business by not letting them sell anything?
Well, I think that's probably the plan.
And if it works in Canada, then other states will probably look at it and say, but do you really think he'll be successful?
In Canada, because they don't have a Second Amendment. They certainly don't have organizations, like ours, the NRA and Gun Owners of America and all these other organizations that fight and say, it's funny. I see people say, hey, you guys said that Obama wanted to take our guns, and we had 8 years of Obama, and he didn't take any of our guns. Yeah, because we fought back.
Hello.
It's not because he didn't want to. One of the first things he did when he got into office was propose he was actually pointing at Mexico and the problems they were having with their corrupt government and their drug cartels.
Didn't they give some guns to Mexico?
They did. Yes, they did.
A couple of pistols.
And said, hey, we want to start banning guns. And we said, nope, not going to do that. We're going to fight back. So anyway, that's what's going on with those three situations. Very, very proud of our endorsement, very proud of our injunction, and of course, deeply ashamed of Canada.
Gun rights are women's rights. Friend of the show, Amy Robbins, are coming to San Diego.
Ooh. A lot of companies are frustrated with their website. It looks old. It's out of date. It's not getting customers. But Sage Tree gets it. Since 2005, Sage Tree has been helping companies with websites that look great, work great, and get leads. Stop being frustrated by your website and get one that you're proud to share. Contact Sage Tree today to get a website that makes the phone ring. Getting started is super easy. Call 866-728-9100. That's 866-728-9100 and fix your website today.
Very cool. Well, we talked to Kiarra at the beginning of the show where she talked about a really cool event that's coming up called Gun Rights or Women's Rights. It's happening on San Diego State's campus in just a few weeks. So we're having at least one of the guest speakers on the show. She's a friend of the show. She's been on here before. Amy Robbins, how are you?
Hey guys, it's so great to be back on. Y'all are seriously my favorite show to do in all of California. So thanks for having me on.
You say that to all the Second Amendment radio shows in San Diego.
I don't. I'm like, seriously, what you guys are doing. I mean, you're so informative. I just absolutely love what you're doing. And I learned so much. I mean, California is not getting enough credit for some of the cool things that you guys are doing. So
thank you, Amy.
For what you do.
I love that. Yeah. That's awesome. We need to have her on more, Dave.
Well, but see, California's doing their very best to keep us squelched.
That's right.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm like, nobody knows that stuff. And so listening to you, they're definitely getting all that information.
Well,
so
I got to tell you,
being a part of it.
Well, thank you, Amy. We love having you on. I got to tell you, we were a little behind on this. We had our monthly meetings last week, and Kiarra came by and she said, hey, I got this thing that's happening, and I was wondering if I could talk about it. And so we let her talk. She's very articulate. She's a student at San Diego State. She is working with Turning Point, and which is a really cool organization. They're awesome. They've actually flown me to a couple of different campuses to give a talk about the Second Amendment. They're very
awesome.
Cool organization. And she told us all about this event, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea this was happening. This is awesome. I wish we were a part of it. I wish we were deeper into it.
I mean, I mean, definitely next time. So I've been a part of this event once before. I don't know how often they're doing it, but it is one of my favorite events to go to, obviously, because it's very female focused. And I love the angle that they're taking on this, because they are, Turning Point is doing a fantastic job with the culture wars and what's going on. And they are on the front lines with this younger generation that is truly standing up for our Second Amendment. And I love to see that happen. And the angle that they're taking this, I love, which is gun rights are women's rights. Because, we are seeing that women have rights in every single other area in our society, except when it comes to how we want to defend and protect ourselves. I think it's such an odd backward thing that every way that we can, we're fighting for women's rights, except we're fighting to take away women's rights when we talk about banning firearms, banning certain types of high capacity magazines, putting taxes on ammo. I mean, just all these things that a lot of these politicians are wanting to implement are definitely going to hurt women. And so I love this opportunity to go and talk about the Second Amendment through this angle. I think it's a great event.
It is, and that's exactly the angle is important. I talk a lot about, to activists, if we are talking to people that, aren't necessarily on board with gun ownership, and we talk about it from our perspective, hey, it's the Constitution. And for example, and they don't care about the Constitution. If you don't give a rip about the Constitution and you're sitting there telling them, well, this is important because it's in the Constitution, they don't care. You're not going to convince them. But, so many people care about women, about the safety of women, about the, women's rights. So if you relate to them through that angle, through that lens, I think they're far more likely to go, oh, all right, I get it. Yeah, this really does.
I mean, 100%. Most of the time when we go to these events, a lot of what we see, the pushback that we get as to why people, especially this younger generation, may be anti-gun, a lot of it is very, very fear-driven. You think about when they were growing up. I mean, when I was growing up, school shootings were not happening, and yet for this younger generation, that is what they associate with firearms. So them wanting to be anti-firearm is really about the fear aspect of it. Most of them haven't shot firearms. Most of them have not had encounters yet in their lives where their personal safety has been threatened. And so most of them don't look at the firearm as an equalizer. Even these young girls, they're told, oh, just go take some jujitsu, just carry some mace, which I'm not opposed to those being in your toolbox. But to look at the firearm as your ultimate equalizer, we have an opportunity here to go and change some hearts and minds by hopefully getting them to see that they do possess that ability to learn how to use firearms. It doesn't have to be a scary thing. And if they can just get their hands on it and get some training, then that can lessen that fear and actually increase their confidence and empower them to go out into the world and live more confidently. So we're actually holding a training session before the speaking event to invite women, and I think it's open to everybody, but I think most of it's women that's coming to this event to get their hands on, guns and see that it's not as scary as the media makes it out to be.
That's awesome. Yeah, it is. It legally has to be open to everyone, but they're emphasizing, hey, it's really meant for women. So.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, we talked a little bit about that. It's a Discount Gun Mart. You have to, of course, register and sign up to attend. So talk a little bit about that. What are you guys going to if you're a woman who is it geared towards women who've never touched a gun before, or is it intermediate, or we'll talk a little bit about the kind of training?
So it's geared towards anyone that wants to come and learn about it. So, I mean, this is definitely going to be more of a beginner-focused class. I'm sure there's going to be people that have never touched a firearm all the way up to girls who have their license to carry and everything in between. But it's mostly going to be, presenting. We get asked all the time, what is the best gun for me to shoot as a woman? And I'm like, well, I can't really tell you that, because that's like me telling you what's the best shoe to wear.
Right.
What do you need this shoe for? What are you going to use it for? There's so many factors, and to talk to somebody about it without them actually getting their hands on a bunch of different options to shoot, to see what they're comfortable with, it's really hard to, like we said, break that barrier of fear for them. So I hope to just get as many people through there. We've got some great, wonderful instructors who are there to just make you feel as comfortable and as safe as possible, that are just going to help you get your hands on a lot of different options so you can see what you like. Because what I like may not be what somebody else wants to shoot, may not be what they want to carry or keep in their house or whatever.
The range you guys are going to is it's a nice little range too. It's a nice big range. It's indoors. It's they have a really nice classroom. You guys have a great facility that you're going to be working with. So what do you think is the most? We try to do training all the time. In fact, 2 to 4 times a month we do what we call our shooting socials, where we teach people to shoot. We basically give them a first time shooting experience. They've never typically or have very little experience or never touched a gun before. And I got to tell you, 3/4 of the folks who come are women. And we don't really target women. We don't go out and say, hey, this is, for women, or we don't, go to women's groups necessarily. It's just, that's, the dynamic is changing. The demographic's changing. But if the folks who are listening who help out at these shooting socials, they're all volunteers, they're all wonderful. What would you say is the most important thing that they need to do or say, or what's the most important message they need to get across, in that first 2 hours with a brand new shooter? What's the most important thing that the shooter needs to walk away from, learning or knowing?
Yeah, first and foremost, just from an instructor standpoint, just going in there and not trying to be a know-it-all and say, like, this is the only way that you have to do things, but hoping that they can kind of lower that barrier to be very patient with the first-time gun owners, and mostly just teaching them the very basics and letting them see that once they pull that trigger, the gun is not going to explode on its own. Right. This is how a firearm operates. I think the biggest thing, especially for me when I was getting into firearms, was just learning how the gun operates and knowing that, I have to pull the trigger myself in order for that gun to go off. And it's, once I did that over and over again and got comfortable with it, which is what I hope new shooters get at the range, is just plenty of trigger time. Learning how to rack a slide is big, because that's a big part that's very intimidating for a lot of women. Loading magazines, racking a slide, loading one in the chamber is very intimidating. So if you can be patient and help them get over those first few bumps, then I think that they will walk away feeling extremely empowered that they know how to operate a tool that could potentially save their lives.
I honestly, I got my first firearm was a Glock 19. I was 21 years old. I got to tell you, I think the first 6, 7, 8 years that I owned that firearm, I don't think it was until I took a formal multi-day class that I think I was intimidated by my gun. For that first 6, 7, 8 years, to be perfectly frank and honest with you, I think I was scared of the gun. It was that. Yeah. Learning, taking a formal multi-day class is really what got me over. And I say scared. It's not like I was, in tears crying, but I was definitely not comfortable with the Dave. Stop laughing at me. I was definitely not comfortable as I should have been until I took that formal class, which is what I mean by being afraid of the gun.
I completely agree with you, because I was the same way, and it wasn't until I got into this because I started hosting a show for the NRA, so they kind of threw me in the deep end, and just I got my hands on every single platform, every type of model I wanted to shoot, and it was scary, very scary at first to me, because I didn't know which way the safety was on or off, or if it was up or down, or all those kind of things were very intimidating. But the more I shot, and the more I got comfortable, I cannot tell you just how incredibly empowering. I mean, that's the best word I can come up with. That's how I felt once I learned it. So,
PRMI Mortgage, primeres.com/Alpine. Hey, if you're looking to buy, refi, or if you're just considering a reverse mortgage, you need to call our local mortgage guy that you can trust. Call Chris Wiley at PRMI Mortgage. For nearly 25 years, Chris has been helping local San Diegans with all their mortgage needs. They make it easy. Worked with a friendly, expert team that will help you get the best deal on a mortgage. Give Chris a call at 619-722-1303 or just go to primeres.com/Alpine.
We're talking to Amy Robbins, who is going to be out here. When is the event, Amy?
It is Monday, November 7th, I believe.
That's the day before the election.
Yep.
Yeehaw.
Yep.
Holy cow.
Hey, Amy, I heard you're moving to Canada.
Yeah, right.
Mike's going.
Not a chance. I mean, that's just crazy what's going on there. But you know what? I mean, I hope that Beto doesn't win here in Texas and make Texas like Canada.
How
Beto.
in the world can anybody be on his side?
Oh, well, you asked that, and then hit that Senate race between him and Cruz, I guess a few years ago, was way too close for comfort. And the crazy thing, most people blamed it on the Californians that were moving to Texas, and that actually wasn't the case. It was a lot of native Texans that were voting for him. I mean, I was really shocked with that stat.
Texas isn't that red. It's not that red. People.
No, but he's stupid.
Well, I agree with that.
I mean, okay, I'm going to give Texans a little more credit. I mean, look at the way, just mind-boggling.
Here's the shocking stat is that only 11% of the voter base even voted in that last election.
Oh,
so
geez.
if people don't, they just don't seem to come out for those races. And if people don't wake up and really pay attention to what Beto is, what he's running on, what he stands for, what his voting record has been, we're not very far from completely flipping this state. And people think that our gun rights, we just got constitutional carry passed. Thank you, Governor Abbott, for getting that done. But we're not far away from that getting reversed and overturned and then becoming a state that is really not very friendly to the Second Amendment, which is really kind of scary.
Are you guys pretty happy with Abbott?
On certain issues, I am. I mean, obviously, I don't think you're going to 100% agree with any politician that's in office. But I was very thankful that, our House and our Senate put pressure on him to get that constitutional carry signed. And I'm thankful for that because, that has helped a lot of Texans, especially during the pandemic when people were going out and buying their first time firearms. Then they're going out and they're getting trained and they're saying, I don't feel safe. I don't feel, Dallas has a lot of crime. We're in the DFW area and violent crime is on the rise here and people just don't feel safe. They don't feel like the cops are being able to take care of them. And so that constitutional carry has been extremely important for people to start taking a hold of their own safety and doing something about it. So I was very glad with that.
Well, out here in San Diego, we are encouraging people. We've endorsed a lady for sheriff, and she's wonderful. She's been wonderful with CCWs. We have a wonderful relationship with her, and the Republican is horrible on many levels, and she's a Democrat. And encouraging people to vote for a Democrat has been particularly tough because the last few years, Democrats have just gone so crazy when it comes to their views on crime and that sort of thing.
Yep.
So trying to encourage people to vote for a Democrat sheriff, even though she's
interesting.
Yeah, even though she doesn't share it, she doesn't share any of those views. She's actually increased the budget for the sheriff's department, and she's been great. She's been wonderful. But just the idea that Democrats, in so many ways, have increased crime, essentially, and decreased law enforcement, it's been really difficult. It's a huge challenge.
Well, that's kind of when you hope that the people who do care, that might be single issue voters, you do hope that they start paying attention to where this, because look, Second Amendment is my number one issue when I'm voting. And it's because that is the one that protects all of your other rights.
Yep.
And so I'm like, if people don't pay attention to who they're voting for, and they're going to lose that right. And then they're going to wake up one day and be like, oh, I need to go, my family's not safe. I need to go get a gun. Oh, but I can't. Oh, who did I vote for? And you need to really think about it because your elections do have consequences. And I am thankful in San Diego. I actually heard it's pretty not easy. I mean, I know you have to go through a little bit more process than we might have to here in Texas, but she's pretty good about issuing concealed carry permits. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
So even before she's currently the undersheriff, but even before she became undersheriff, we solved that problem. You could get a CCW in San Diego. It's been wonderful. And then the Bruin case, even the big thing was the good cause. You had to have proof of good cause, but we pretty much turned that into a minor formality, and then that just completely went away. And then she's hired more staff, and then they've gotten a lot more efficient. They were issuing like 150 to 200 CCWs a month, and then last month they issued over 1,000. So
wow. Again, you guys just don't get credit for that. Like that just doesn't make a lot of news. People harp on California. I think because they think LA and San Francisco.
Yeah.
You know, they think that those are the rules of the day, and that's where everybody has to fall in line with that. But I'm like, no, there really are, conservatively speaking, when it comes to the Second Amendment, places that are very much Second Amendment friendly places in California. You just don't hear about them.
Well, we're working on it. I mean, really is it's not just a legal or political change, but we're really working on it has to be a cultural change.
Yeah, it does.
And and they're kind of hand in hand. You know, I go back and forth. It depends on the week. You know, if you ask me which one comes first, the cultural change or the political change, and they're kind of hand in hand. They kind of have to move together to change.
Well, they do. And I actually think it's very similar to how we see women start moving in the direction of thinking about firearms for their safety. A lot of women, something has to happen to them before they actually start thinking that way.
Which is unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate. Like they're very reactive. I was very reactive. You know, it wasn't until I got followed and harassed that I even thought I need to go get my license to carry. But most people are that way. And I think the one thing through COVID and the pandemic that we saw was as this crime and violent crime was rising across the country, people were finally like, you know what? Maybe I need to be a little bit more proactive, no matter which side of the political aisle they fell on. I mean, all my Democrat friends were running out and buying firearms. And it was really funny. The ones that lived in California were like, did you know I can't just like take my gun home? And I'm like, no, I did know that. Did you know, like, I've been telling you that for a really long time?
Well,
yes, I did know that.
The cultural change, but this event that you're doing, that's a big, you know, if they see, they're going to look up on stage. I think she said that you're going to have about 300 people there. And I think we're going to actually go over that. But you're going to have over 300 people there. And they're going to look up on stage and they're going to see a couple of kick-ass women talking about how important this is. And that is a big help when it comes to changing the culture.
I hope so. I mean, I really do. You can't say that.
I can't say women on the radio? Yeah.
Well, I mean, I hope so. That is when I go and I do these events. I mean, the most powerful thing any of us have, and especially as women, is we have our story. We have our stories to share of how we had our aha moments and what brought us to the point of realizing that we needed a firearm. No one can argue with that. You can sit and try to argue with stats and laws all day long, but you can't argue with my story. You can't argue with the real fear that I felt when I was out running that day. You can't argue that I realized when it's 7 guys that were following me in a van, mace wasn't going to cut it. I was never going to outrun them. I could never fight them off. The only equalizer in that opportunity would have been a firearm, and I didn't have one.
Wow.
And, you know, I said, I will never, ever be in a situation again where I feel helpless and defenseless, and I feel like I'm the underdog. And I would have considered myself a very strong, independent woman, but I couldn't have taken care of myself in that situation. That was extremely eye-opening for me. And, you know, no one can argue with that and tell me that I am wrong in that situation for wanting to protect myself how I want to. And I just hope with that message that, you know, it resonates with some other women who maybe found themselves in a similar situation, or maybe it gets them to start thinking a little bit more proactively about their safety so they don't find themselves in a situation like I did. That would be my biggest hope for all of us.
So that's the kind of thing that you guys are going to be talking. It's you and Antonia. You guys are going to be. You guys are the speakers, and those are the types of. That's the kind of information they're going to get. It's the type of story you're going to be talking about. Is how you got to where you're at.
Yep.
That's
and
awesome.
Just sharing with you know, the audience, for teaching them like why this is for women, like why these are women's rights, because we come up against this all the time, and especially Antonia, because, you know, Antonia is the one that actually like trademarked that phrase, gun rights are women's rights. This has been her platform for a very long time, and the work she's doing with Gun Owners of America is absolutely amazing. And she started an organization called Empowered 2A that my company and her have been working together since both of us started our businesses. And so, you know, she has just really turned this into an amazing movement. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to open it up to questions, because I love hearing, I think having an actual dialogue is very important when we have these kind of speeches. It's not just us up there speaking. This is very, it's a very dialogue conversation where they get to ask questions, we answer, and we share our stories. And then, hopefully we get to change some hearts and minds at the end of it.
Well, my little buddy Action Jackson, Action Jackson. You've talked to him before. He's our co-host. He's 9 years old, and he shoots weekly with his 9mm Glock. And we just found out he got a 9mm SIG, so he's spoiled. He's got a question for you. Last time he asked you this question, you said that the answer varies, so we want to see if it's the same answer this time.
Oh, okay.
Go for it, Action Jackson.
What's your favorite gun?
Good question.
Why did I feel like I knew that question was coming? And I would love to be able to tell you that I have just one favorite, but I don't. That's like asking me to choose my favorite pair of shoes. I absolutely right now, I am loving my SIG P365. That is pretty much my everyday carry when I'm running out and about and running errands. When I actually go on a run, I'm typically carrying something smaller like a Springfield 911 or my Ruger LCP. Don't judge me, all of you that are out there in the gun world.
And how do you carry when you're out running?
And my Alexos, of course. So, I don't leave home in really anything else other than Alexa these days because we've just made it so simple and so comfortable and so easy to carry.
Give your website. Yep.
AlexoAthletica.com or just Google Alexo and we'll pop up.
Okay, Amy, I got to give you a really quick story just to show you how much scrutiny we're under. We had Melissa Lee, who you know, doing a holster demonstration, and she brought a blue gun in, which is nothing more than a fake gun. Facebook and Facebook and YouTube shut us down because she carried the gun in. So the following week, she brought a banana.
You gotta be an innovator.
You gotta be an innovator. Hey, it's good talking to you. It looks like the group's probably going to come out at least for the speech and listen to you, talk to the world.
Can't wait.
Great. I can't wait to see you guys. Thanks for having me on. I'll see you soon.
Hey, a self-defense event
Easy
happens,
for you to say.
I know. Happens in seconds. In the time it takes to listen to this commercial, your life could change forever. I pray you're never forced to shoot in self-defense, but if you must, then you must be ready. That's why USCCA exists, because every responsibly armed American should have the training and education to navigate a self-defense situation. And should you ever need it, the 24/7 critical response team is right there for you. To discover more about USCCA, visit uscca.com/GOR. Act now, because the life you save could be your own. That's uscca.com/GOR.
So, Dave, we were talking a lot about that event that's coming up. I just wanted to, let's just, one more time. It's November 7th, 7 p.m. at the San Diego State University Student Union. And then there's a couple different ways to get more information. You can either, we're going to send it out through Gun Owners Radio. So go to gunownersradio.com, sign up for our newsletter. Or if you're a member of San Diego County Gun Owners or Orange County Gun Owners or Inland Empire, you're going to get information via email. Or go to facebook.com/TPUSA SDSU. So that's like Turning Point USA, San Diego State University.
Now, you don't have to register to that, right?
You do. You got to register. Everything you got to register, but it's free.
Okay.
So go to facebook.com/TPUSA SDSU.
And what was that again?
TPUSA SDSU.
Is Charlie Kirk going to be there?
No. But I think Action Jackson's going to be there. That's even better.
You going to bring Chase?
Absolutely.
With or without the collar? Probably with.
Why don't you, I think that day you should wear the collar.
I think you should too.
Yeah.
A matching. Your mom would probably like it. Keep you in line. Keep you from barking.
No way, Jose.
Come on, you'll be barking.
Are you pretty good, or does she have to crack the whip every now and then?
No. You have to crack the whip on her, right?
No.
Yep.
She gets out of line. Out of line every once in a while. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of out of line.
Hey, he's got ghosts in his house. Did you see that?
I did. I saw that.
I don't know.
Speaking of out of line, we have everyone's favorite segment, Stump My Nephew, where my nephew Sam, the gunman, we found out a while back that he is extremely good with gun trivia. So if you email us a question that's gun related and we use it on the air, we'll send you a hat or shirt. And if you stump my nephew, we'll give you a really cool prize. So without further ado, Sam, you there?
Yeah, how are you guys?
Good, man.
Good.
How are you?
Living the dream.
Excellent. You got your Halloween costume picked out yet?
No, I didn't even, that didn't occur to me.
You could go as Michael Schwartz.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have anywhere to go.
I'm going to go. You go trick-or-treating. What do you mean you don't have anywhere to go?
Well, I'm 23 years old.
Kids.
That would be a little bit weird.
And
Kids
you're a
today.
tad tall, so.
I'm going to trick-or-treat via Zoom.
You should.
All right. Anyway, so Action Jackson, what are you dressed up as this year?
If you remember from the original Pokemon series, Ash Ketchum from Palatown.
Of course I remember. How can I forget?
You
That's
watch-
an awesome costume.
Don't you watch that all the time?
All the time. That's a good. I was almost going to be that exact same thing. All right. This is Allie from El Cajon. Allie wants to know what dino-themed rifle shoots a 750 grain bullet.
What dino-themed rifle shoots a 750 grain bullet?
Yep.
I don't know exactly what the person writing in means by dino-themed. So let me start off by saying this. I do know of... Actually, you know what? No, I think I know the answer. Here we go. I didn't see this movie, but in one of the recent Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, something or other movies,
Right.
Chris Pratt's character used a Marlin 1895, I think it was the guide gun model, in 4570 government. And Marlin, back before they were part of Ruger, when they were still owned by Freedom Group, on their website, on each product page for each rifle, it would have these little icons telling what game animals each rifle was suitable for. And it's funny this would be the question, because I was talking about this at work today with a customer. And on the product page of the rifle Chris Pratt's character used in the movie, it said suitable for T-Rex.
All that is accurate, and I've shot that. It's that lever action Marlin. It was about 20 yards offhand. I keyholed 2 rounds. Extremely proud. It was awesome. It's very, very easy to shoot, despite the fact that it is a monster. But I think the key to this, I think they purposely tried to throw you off. The key to this question is the 750 grain bullet.
So 4570 is, as you said, a monster of a round. And you can get loadings for it all the way up from, I think the lightest I've seen is about a 300 grain, though I bet you could go below that. And I have heard of bullet weights going up and sometimes even past 700 grains. So I don't think a 750 would be out of the question. It is on the heavier side for that caliber, though.
It is. The answer that they gave is, and you're absolutely right. I looked it up. Marlin has on their listing, they say, hey, this gun's appropriate for whatever, varmint. And they show a picture of a varmint or deer, moose, whatever. And then with that, they have a picture of a T-Rex, which is hilarious. But the answer that they give here is the A Square 577 caliber T-Rex, which was developed by Lieutenant Colonel Art Alphin at the request of 2 unnamed professional hunters that wanted a rifle that would, quote, stop anything. It fires a 750 grain bullet at 2,450 feet per second and produces over 10,000 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. Recoil is 172 foot-pounds in a 13-pound rifle. Unfortunately, A Square closed its doors in 2012. That was the answer they were looking for. I think they were purposely trying to throw you off because your answer was
probably
more timely. More timely.
Well, I'm not familiar with the that's good to know. I wasn't familiar with the 577 T-Rex, and I wouldn't say that the question was trying to throw me off on purpose, because it doesn't sound like it was a trick question. But given that the answer I provided is also technically correct, I guess you'll have to call this a draw.
All right.
I agree with that.
Call it a draw. I'm still, regardless, I'm not giving a prize.
No. We stopped giving prize.
No, Allie, from Alcohol, I'll give you a prize. Contact us, Allie, or we'll contact Allie, and we'll give you a couple of tickets to Gun Prom on the 12th
In Riverside.
Inland Empire. Yep, Riverside, Allie. If you want to go, let us know, or if you're not available, let us know that too. We'll reward you. It was a very, very good question. Very, very interesting. I liked it a lot. Excellent job. Check out that Marlin. Like I said, the first time I shot it, offhand, keyhole 2 rounds at about 20 yards. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
Could Action Jackson do it?
This guy's like the Rock of Gibraltar.
Yeah. The recoil wouldn't set him down.
It might not get back. It was some serious recoil.
I was going to say.
It was some serious recoil.
Yeah. He would have to get a pillow and tie it to his bottom.
What do you say, man? Can we tie a pillow to you? And
Well, that way when you fire the gun and you fall on your bottom, it'll be comfy.
Maybe.
You ever fired a gun that has a big recoil?
Besides a 10 mil? No.
Okay.
No, that's pretty good recoil.
Pretty good recoil.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you want to keep him from falling over, you can do like they did with, I think it was Odysseus, and tie him to a post.
You like to be tied to a post?
Sure,
why not? Yeah. As long as you don't fall over. Chase will be there.
Excellent job, Sam. Awesome job. Really appreciate it. Always love all the information that you bring, and great job. Thank you.
We even learned something when he only gets close.
I know. 700. By the way, 750 grain bullet.
That's it.
Why do you? If you had to estimate how many ounces do you think that is, Sam?
Well, it's more than an ounce. I don't know the conversion factor to ounces offhand, but I know there are 7,000 grains in a pound.
Wow.
Holy mackerel.
So it's like a tenth of a pound.
So it would
yeah, a little more than a tenth of a pound. And I think this is the first time I have ever given an answer that satisfied the question but was not the given answer. This is a rare one.
I have to agree. I agree.
Fun question. Thanks for writing in.
Yeah.
Good job, bud.
Thanks. Good night, everyone.
All right, man. Don't forget to vote.
Yep.
All right, folks. Need some help here. You need to subscribe to our show and give us a 5-star review.
Definitely.
It won't hurt. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify. And please support all our great sponsors like San Diego County Gun Owners, Orange County Gun Owners, Inland Empire Gun Owners, the Dillon Law Group, PRMI Mortgage, Safe Street, San Diego Flight Training International, and U.S. Concealed Carry Association. And we can't thank Michael Schwartz, Sam the Gunman, Action Jackson, Brendan Thomas, and Alicia Curtin. If you're wondering where she's at today, folks, she's on assignment, taking an AR class. She just texted me, said she's exhausted, but loving it. So I'm sure we're going to get a big report from her next week. And don't forget, join San Diego County Gun Owners. $10 a month. Come on, you can't even buy a meal for $10 a month. Well, plus it's 2 pieces of pecan pie and a glass of milk. You might be able to get it.